Hello, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm here with my friend and co host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we are the Biz Chicks. You know, on Mondays, we love to have conversations with you. So we want to give a shout out to everybody on Clubhouse, everybody watching live, and those of you who are watching on the replay. We hope that you will join the conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about responsibility. Oh, my goodness. Friend, let's get this conversation started. What brought all of this, to our minds?
Well, last week we were in a conference, a business and ministry conference, and one of the guest speakers was Brian Tracy.
Mhm.
And so he went on to talk about the fact that everything, if we take responsibility for our actions, we will be further along than where we are, because everything is our responsibility. Now, you may not have caused the thing that has happened, but you do have responsibility on how you will respond to it or how you are going to react to it. That responsibility lies within all of us. We don't have control over the price of tea, or maybe we do. We don't have the control over the wind and the rain and the storms, but how we respond to all of that, we have responsibility in how we respond. And one of the other things he talked about was stop blaming other people. Stop blaming your parents because, okay, you're grown now. Whatever choices they made because, with the best information that they had, and they did the best that they could. And even if they didn't do the best that they could, okay, you're grown now. We can't blame our parents. We can't blame our teachers. We can't blame our boss. We can't blame the school system. We can't blame anybody for the outcome of our lives.
Exactly. Morning, Coach Karen. Coach Karen says, right, Fran.
Right. Hey, Coach Karen. And so we can't blame anybody.
Please
You are not responsible for the extra 10 or 20 pounds that I have. The personal trainer is not responsible. No one is responsible for me. And just like I can't do squats and sit-ups for you, I cannot succeed for you. No one can succeed for you. No one can make you a success. No one can make me a success. I have full responsibility. I have responsibility. And until I take responsibility, there will be no change. There will be nothing that I desired until I take responsibility. Okay. And you got anything to say? I'm going to open that up and see if she's, she didn't raise her hand, but if she'd like to comment. Taking full responsibility. We don't like to do it. And good morning.
Hello. Good morning. I'm in total agreement. I've always taught my children that you can't control someone else's reactions. You only can control your actions and your reactions to the situation. So you have to take responsibility for everything that you do. I'm in total agreement.
I love that. Take responsibility for your reaction to stuff. You know what I mean? We can't always determine, well, we usually can't, we have no control over what other people do. Let's put it this way, because they have responsibility for what they do. But like Ann says, hey, we are responsible for our reaction to it. Now, Coach Karen says here, this is what I say. So many say the school should teach about money, but if they did, what would I teach? she says, he says, or when people say to me, but I've been praying, I say yes. And what have you been doing? Okay.
Yeah, because we want I'm in line with what Coach Karen is saying about the praying. We watch people pray and Lord do this and move the mountain and do this. He's like, look, I done told you to speak to the mountain. I've told you to do this. I've given you every provision that you need, but I need you to move. I need you to pick up and go forward. I've already done. God's done everything that He's going to do about the situation. Now, what are we going to do about the situation? You have been given everything you need to succeed.
Not only that, He turned around and gave you the keys.
So you have everything that you need, but if you don't step forward, it won't happen. So I was reading this morning about Nehemiah, and he went and got permission from the king to go back and rebuild the walls. Right? So he's going to go back and rebuild the walls. But then there was some opposition. You're going to get opposition. You're going to have to deal with the opposition. So here's what I learned. So you have to deal with the opposition. Okay, I watch basketball. So I'm watching the basketball. And when you get the most banged up and fouled? Right when you're going for the goal, right when you're at the paint and you're trying to make the basket, people are trying to foul you. People are going to try and stop you.
We say they try to foul you.
And try and stop you from making the goal. You're going to get opposition. But if we sit back and be afraid to move forward because there's opposition, that's not a good thing. The win has been promised, but you still got to go forward. He said, I will prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. That means you got to see some enemies. You got to see the opposition. The opposition is there, but because the opposition is there does not mean you won't win. You still move forward.
Now, friend, I'm looking over here. We didn't start. Usually we start with a definition. So over here under responsible as an adjective, it says having an obligation to do something.
What?
You said?
We got to do something?
Having an obligation to do something.
We are obliged. We have to do something.
And having control over or care for someone as part of one's job or role, the department responsible for education, etc. Similar things involving important duties, independent decision-making, or control over others, important power for authoritative executive. So every decision you make is an executive decision. You know how people say, I'm going to make an executive decision right here. Look, in your life, every decision you make is an executive decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because you're the executive of your life.
You have to execute. and I like the word, the definition means taking action. You have to do something. You are responsible. So let's go back to getting healthy, getting to your ideal weight. Sorry about that. Getting to your ideal weight, getting to being healthy, fit, trim, whatever it is. You have to take responsibility. You took responsibility by eating more than one bite that you should have of improper fuel, right? More than likely, it was the wrong type of fuel and a whole lot of it that got you out of sorts.
Okay.
So like Casey Treat said, it's going to be one less bite at a time, and you're going to need to move more. Okay, yes. Then that means I got to move more. That means I got to put together a plan to move more. I can't sit on the couch and watch all of the people do the P90X like, ooh, wow, that looks really nice. You're going to have to break a sweat. And maybe you don't want the sweat. Maybe
Oh,
you don't want the listen, what did they say? The glow sparkle. That's what the lady said on when I ride the bike. She said, "You're gonna sparkle today." And maybe I don't want to, but it's my responsibility to reverse what I've done. I have to do it. I got to get on the bike. I got to either walk or whatever the exercise or movement of choice is. I still have to do it. That is my responsibility.
Francine, there is no reason why I am not doing 100 squats a day when I have a hot tub out there that I can just sit in and basically get these squats done. I have, because my thing is the pool is cold, right? It's not heated, but the hot tub is not. What's going on here? It says here responsibility. Being responsible means being dependable, and this is what you always talk to us about, Fran, keeping promises and honoring our commitments. You say, keep your promise to yourself, right? It
Mm-hmm.
is accepting, are you ready for this? The consequences of what we say and do. It also means developing our potential. People who are responsible don't make excuses for their action or blame others when things go wrong.
Oh, so we,
We get the
we
credit or we get the debit.
okay, we get the credit or the consequence. So we are responsible for the consequences. Hey, Mark, how you doing? We got Mark from Chicago in here.
Uh-oh, Mark's getting ready to light us up because this,
This is all down his alley because
this is right up his right up his alley. Yep.
I am
Oh,
responsible. That is what, Brian Tracy had us say it more than once. I
mhm.
am
I
responsible.
am responsible.
Mark,
Yes. Hello. Good morning.
good morning.
One of the things too that I think people often fail to realize, in my experience, is there is actually a cost to being irresponsible in terms of when you have a desire, a perceived need to do something, and your actions are counter to that intention. In other words, when it becomes conscious sabotage,
Conscious.
unconscious sabotage, there is a much greater cost.
Mm.
Because when you know that there's something, I really need to do this, whatever this is, and you don't follow through, the universe will respond with, it begins with a little whisper in the ear, then a tap on the shoulder, a little push, and eventually it will become a kick in the butt. So it's very important that we always align our actions with the things that we say that we intend to do. Because if you don't, there's a bigger price to pay. There's a big difference between not knowing and knowing. And when you betray yourself, the cost is higher.
Betray yourself. Wow.
Wow.
A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands leads to poverty.
In this case, I the conscious sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, explain conscious sabotage, please. Yeah.
Okay, well, when, for example, if you decide, you know what, I really need to, I need to exercise. I really need to start moving more. Okay, you know that you have made the decision, the choice that says I need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not follow through with the actions that support your intention, those things that were seemingly uncomfortable before will be elevated in volume, because the universe will say, hey, you said you wanted this. I'm trying to support you in this, but you're turning against yourself. What's wrong with you? So what happens is your experience will begin to elevate the discomfort of that thing that you are not addressing, that you're not following through with. It's conscious sabotage because you know that you need to do it and aren't doing it. It's different when you just don't know.
Nice. Okay.
Choosing not to.
Oh wait, because there's the scripture for that too. When you know to do, it's
Right.
called sin when you know to do it and then you don't. That is, and it's unconscious sabotage. You are setting yourself up to fail when you know to do something, you don't do it, you don't follow through, and you keep doing that. I'm wondering if what is that? Procrastination could be unconscious sabotage because we keep putting that thing off to another week or another day, and we talk about procrastination. Procrastination, I believe, is a sign of irresponsibility.
Let me give you an example that I think you've probably heard me use before, because it's part of my canon, so to speak, because it's an example in my life. This is at a micro level. But one of my negative habits, for lack of a better term, used to be that when I would come in with mail or things like that, I would put it on the dining room table. The dining room table became sort of the be-all, end-all of things that I just didn't want to attend to at the moment. And so eventually that becomes rather unsightly and a little mess. And I would think, you know what? I really need to clean that table. But I wouldn't clean the table. Now, we all know the table doesn't care. The table doesn't care whether it's clean or not. The stuff on the table doesn't care whether it's removed or not. Nobody else cares. There's nobody else in my house. But because I thought I need to do it, every time I walk past that table and see that stuff there, it sucks some of my energy away. Not because the table needs to be cleaned, but because I think that the table needs to be cleaned and I'm not doing it. There's a very different energy if I had said, you know what, that table needs to be cleaned, I'm not going to clean it. Or that table needs to be cleaned, I'm going to do that next Tuesday. It's very different than the really conscious sabotage of just turning away from your own desire. So I always recommend that people be very clear about what you are saying, because there's an energy cost if you do not align yourself to your own declared intentions. It will cost you in ways that you won't necessarily see on the surface.
I understand.
Oh my God. Can I speak to what he just said?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Ann.
I mean, literally, what he just described, it almost cost me $2,500. Literally, I do that exact same thing. I come in, I put the mail, and I procrastinate. I'll attack it soon. I'll get to that soon, because I just hate mail. And then, literally, I want to say it was maybe 2 months in, and you know how checks have a void of a certain date, like 90 days or whatever. I had got an escrow check refund back from my mortgage because I had overpaid like $2,500, but it was sitting there, and it almost reached the date of void had I not attacked it. That is, oh my God. Just described me.
Yeah, I can see that. And we were listening to somebody, Terry Sabelle, when she talked about you just do 20 minutes a day. You made up your mind that you're going to do 20 minutes a day. Like, okay, Mondays is the kitchen, Tuesday is the bathrooms, Wednesday is whatever. and you made that promise to yourself. And so you don't need to beat yourself up if today is Tuesday and you don't get to the bathrooms, if the bathrooms are not supposed to be done till Wednesday. And you're walking, oh my God, the bathroom needs to be done. Well, Wednesday is the day for that. And like Mark was saying, now you're not tripping out because you made a conscious time frame. You added a time frame to get something done. It's when you make a promise, if I hear Mark correctly, it's when you make the promise and you don't
keep it.
You don't keep it because you never made a way to keep it intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
The difference if Wednesday arrives,
right?
If for whatever reason you have made the determination that, you know what, I said I was going to do it today, and I'm not going to do it. There's a big difference between that, between making the declaration of changing that I've made a different choice instead of allowing it to be chosen for you, which means that you just sit around letting it gnaw at you all day until you go to bed and realize you didn't do it. And then you start, supporting an old story about how lazy you are, ineffective, whatever your story is, that eats away at you. And this is what we so often do. And the reason why it's so pervasive is because it enables us to remain victims to powers that we pretend are outside of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We never have to step up and take responsibility for the mess that our lives has become. We can always point the finger at other things, other circumstances, other people.
Blame. Mm-hmm.
The problem with that, aside from it being untrue, is that, your life's going to stay the same.
Exactly.
Right. And there's there it is. Me taking responsibility for the mail on the table is, okay, I shall get to that on Tuesday. Or maybe my change in that is, okay, I'm going to put a mail receptacle somewhere near the table so that all the mail goes right here. And then I need to now make a conscious decision to deal with the mail on a certain day. Because, when we used to work in offices and the mail came in, you address the mail at a certain time. It's the same way with your email. The email box can become the mail on the table.
Oh my gosh.
But you don't kick yourself about not checking it or clearing your email box to zero. You make a decision what that mailbox is going to look like. If I'm hearing Mark correctly, you don't freak out, for lack of a better word, if you didn't get through the whole mailbox. But you make a decision on what you're going to do, how you're going to check your email, or what day you're going to check it, or what have you. You make a decision, and then you keep that promise to yourself. But you are at that point taking responsibility.
Exactly. Now, Coach Karen says we're on point. She says, preach.
Mark, go ahead. You were going to say something else.
One of the most important reminders of this conversation for me is to remember that not making a choice is also a choice.
We want to say good morning to Jill. Jill's in here.
Hey, Jill. So the whole conversation today is about taking responsibility. If there's something you don't like in your life, something you like in your life, something that needs to change, it may not need to be changed, maybe need to be tweaked just a little bit, or we're not happy, we could be happy. We still have responsibility. I can't blame Mark or Ann or Tommy or Jill or Terry or anybody else. I can't blame anybody else for where I am right now in my life. I'm taking responsibility. I am responsible. So say that with me, everybody. I am responsible.
I am responsible.
And it's okay. I am
I
responsible.
am responsible. Mhm.
That is our conversation. Go ahead, Mark.
I think one of the places that's so interesting, where this conversation really needs to take place and be driven by people, is in organizations. Because one of the things that is so pervasive in organizations is the victim mentality of what the boss doesn't know that should know, what they're not doing that they should be doing, all of those things. Instead of people stepping up and taking responsibility and sitting down with your superiors and saying, here's what you want from me, right? We're clear about this. This is how you're defining my success. Here's what I need from you in order to help me succeed in that capacity and to make you even more successful. Because we're not all the same. There might be 50 people doing the same job, but we have different ways of getting there. And so it's very irresponsible for us to sit there and be sitting in our anger about what our superiors don't get. They don't get it. They don't understand. Well, okay, maybe they don't, but what have you done in terms of advocating for what you need in order to succeed? That's on you. In most cases, you only have one boss. They have many of you to manage. So this is a conversation that I've had in many organizations, 100% responsibility, because it is up to you. It is not up to your boss to take responsibility for everything you need. It's not. It could be argued that it should be, but that's on us. We need to take ownership of our lives and how we're showing up in every capacity and stop surrendering that to other people.
Wow. And that brings me to another point. For those of you who have a coach or a mentor, and if you are a mentor, you need to take note of this. The mentor is not supposed to chase you down. The mentor or the coach is not supposed to run after you to see if you're doing your work. You're supposed to be calling in, checking in, and pursuing that mentor.
Mm-hmm.
The mentor may not be your friend. You need to be, if you got a coach that's helping you out, you make sure that you're connecting with that coach, and they're going to give you guidelines and things to do. Like if you called Mark, he would give you things to do and things that he saw. Coach Karen is another person, but they would give you things to do, and it's up to you to get them done.
I think we need to distinguish between the fact that the mentor and the coach are not teachers. With teachers, we feel like they have to, monitor us. We get a grade, et cetera, et cetera.
And it depends. Okay, so here's the thing: in junior high school, I'm sorry, elementary, they start out when you click over into college and high school, all that stops.
It's your personal responsibility to get it done on your timeline. Now, Coach Karen says, my grandmother used to say, Karen, you are not going to school for me. I might feel happy if you pass, but who really feels good about it? And who gets moved to the higher grade, to the higher class? You, when you do the work.
The coach is going to help you, and all you're doing is going to the coach to help you. I think of a coach like a tutor. When you went to the tutoring classes, they showed you how to figure out how to do the math problems. They showed you how to do certain things, but they didn't do the work for you.
They didn't do the work, and they didn't come back to see if you really got a grade or not. You're paying the tutor. The tutor is not there to monitor your grades. The teacher's there to do that.
But the tutor, the coach, and the mentor, they're trying to help you.
Yeah, they're based on application. Go ahead.
Right. And then so you may have gotten a coach to help you with your public speaking or your, like with Mark, with your lifestyle coaching and stuff like that. You may have called them, then you listen to what they say, you implement what they talk about, and what they've given you some things that they've seen, and okay, it's time for you to put it into position, to put it into play. But they can't go out there and make you take the shot.
No. And now Coach Karen says these things have transitioned into all my businesses and when I had jobs. So she's saying, that outcome, taking that responsibility, being able to feel happy about things because she did the work.
And you have to take the responsibility. So again, conversation today, I am responsible. I, Fran, am responsible. I am responsible for my success. I am responsible for my failures. I am responsible. And when I realize that I am responsible, I can make different choices. I can make different decisions that will take me where I want to go. Woo! Thank you all for tuning in today, this little small conversation. If there's something that you would like to talk about on a Monday, please text us or get in contact with us. I'm going to put in the chat here. You can reach us at bizchicks.us, and it has all of our social channels on there, and it has our website and things of that nature, bizchicks.us. And you can reach us, send us a message on one of those channels, whichever one you happen to be using. Thank you so much for tuning in. Terry, you got anything else?
I just want to remind everybody, hey, go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. Tomorrow we'll be talking about social media strategies for marketing with Terry Johnson online all the way from New York City. We want to thank her for holding it down the other week for us while we were in conference. Also on Wednesday, we will be talking all about money with Coach Karen Fern all the way from Toronto, Canada. Thursday, we will be talking Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. And on Friday, we'll be talking tech with the Tech Divas on Tech Weekly. So with that, we wish you well, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Thank you, and Mark and Tommy over in Clubhouse.
Bye-bye.